Welcome everyone to this week's Fish Friday video. We are on Fish Friday number 4, I believe. And today we are going to be talking about one of the most cryptic animals in the ocean. And what I mean by that is we are going to be talking about this, the leafy sea dragon, or Phycodurus equus. So as you can see, you wouldn't think this is that camouflage, but it's actually very camouflage for where it is, where it lives, and we are going to get into that. So, as I said, this is the leafy sea dragon. These are related to seahorses and pipefish, but a common misconception is that these are seahorses, and they are actually something completely different. They're related, but they are different. These live in southern Australia. As you can see, most of the times these are a brown to yellow in color, and they live in seaweed and kelp forests. So as you can see in here, it's slowly moving through these strands of seaweed and kelp, and that's where the camouflage comes into play. When they are barely moving, you can barely see these things. Let's see, what else? They actually do not have scales. They are a fish species that does not have scales. These are actually bony plates. And if I can find a picture for you, I can show you the skeleton. Let's go look that up real quick. Sorry, I was not as prepared for this one. Bam. So here are your sea dragon skeletons. As you can see, they are covered in a bony sheath. They don't have scales. And then you can see that the where these leaves are coming out, those are actual spikes as well. Those aren't just soft flowing in the water filaments. They are actually spikes. The bony plates and spikes, and as you can see, they got spikes running down the side as well. These are pretty, they're little small tanks, slow moving tanks. They actually only have 2 fins, a pectoral and dorsal. You can kind of see the dorsal right here. You see the rays on it. They are so thin that they're basically transparent. It is really hard to see. And that's actually how they move. They're very slow moving, like most seahorses. And they just move those thin, transparent fins so fast that they eventually get where they need to go, but they don't get there fast. They become sexually mature in about 2 years. So once they hatch from the egg, it takes them about 2 years to get to full maturity. There's been some debate on how long they actually live, but you're looking at about somewhere between 7 and 10 years is when they are is about their maximum life span. But they're so cryptic. There's not a whole lot known about. I mean, it's not that there's not a whole lot known about them. It's hard to keep track of them. Just like seahorses, however, the males are responsible for childbearing. Everyone knows that seahorses have a pouch. They're little kangaroos, but males have the pouch. Well, these actually do not have a pouch. That's another big difference between the two. They don't have a pouch. The males actually have a spongy brood patch on the underside of the tail. And in that brood patch, a female will lay an individual egg. There's not a whole lot known about how they do that, but it is there. Let's see if I can open image in a new tab. That is a terrible image, but oh, here you go. As you can see, the eggs are actually bright pink. This right here, that's an egg cluster. and then they sit on the male's tail from 4 to 6 weeks, possibly up to 9 weeks, and only about 5% of the eggs survive. There's actually a specialized organ in the tail to supply oxygen to the eggs, because otherwise the eggs would actually suffocate. So they eat small crustaceans, like sea lice. They'll also eat very small larva fish, little tiny amphipods, little tiny shrimp, which is a small crustacean. So that's what they eat. They don't have a stomach, actually. So they suck the sea lice and everything in there, but it just immediately passes through. They don't have a stomach, so it's just going through the intestines. So they're actually, for as slow moving as they are normally actively searching for food. It's not like they are just sitting around waiting on things to come to them. They are actively moving around. By active, I mean they're moving very, very slowly. They don't really have any predators. They are very camouflaged, and you would think that something like this is not camouflaged, but it looks like, as you can see down here, it's living in a particularly red kelp forest, so it's probably pretty safe. However, they are actually they do actually have problems in their population numbers because they are taken for pets very often. And it got so bad that in the early 1990s, the Australian government did complete protection of the species, meaning that you couldn't do anything to these species to try and protect them. The leafy sea dragon is actually the marine conservation emblem for Australia. Now, there are some problems going on with pollution and habitat loss, but their numbers really got hurt when people started taking them for aquariums. They don't do too well in aquariums. People normally can't keep them alive. They don't know how to take care of them, as many aquarium enthusiasts do. It's there. Something to mention, there is very little larval stage, but they come out as see if this, no, they come out as baby sea dragons. So you can see it's basically coming out of the egg, essentially like looking like a small leafy sea dragon. Should have mentioned that earlier, and I'm sorry. Now, there are 2 other species of sea dragons. Again, remember, these are separate from seahorses. They are not grouped together. You have the weedy sea dragon, which they are closer to purple tails. Let's see if we can do it like this. Nope, of course. Maybe if I do this one. Yes. So this is your weedy sea dragon. Much more colorful. It's living closer to your corals. Much larger eggs. Pretty interesting. And then the other species, which is really interesting because this species was only found in 2015. First one in 150 years of new sea dragons found, and they found a new species of sea dragon in 2015. It does go to show that there are new species being found every day. It's really incredible. And that is the ruby sea dragon. And you think, how did this escape us for so long? Wasn't a good one. And that shows how cryptic these things are. That's a weedy sea dragon. But there's not a whole lot known yet about the ruby sea dragons. But you can see it's there. So, very interesting. Interesting that we'd found a new species just in 2015. Who knows if we're going to find any more of these. really, really interesting critters. Definitely different than your seahorse, normal seahorse. Again, remember, they are not seahorses. But thank you guys so much again. I really hope you appreciate it. I hope to see you again. Sorry that this Fish Friday was shorter than the rest. Kind of glossed over some things, and there's so little known about these fish that it's really hard to get a full 13 to 15 minute video in. But I hope you enjoy it. Do not forget that we are going to be switching freshwater with saltwater every day, or every week. So next week will be a freshwater fish. Who knows what it's going to be? But stick around and find out. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you do, I would really appreciate it. And if you do, please leave a comment to let me know. The comments should be fixed. I hope they're fixed now, but who knows. But take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and peace.